I really want to go outside, but oh my god, look at that snow. Oh wait, I ordered that Seiko. Let me see what's happened to it. Oh, porca miseria, you can't be serious.
I don't think so. No, 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 no.
I guess I could make a martini and look at some new watch releases. Oh wait, I'm doing dry January. And there's no new watch releases. I know what I'll do. Let's see what the response is to that Seiko I just reviewed. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. It's January, it's colder than a mother hubbard out there, so I thought, you know what, focus on some personal and collecting goals in this video. I'll do a very quick wristwatch check wearing my linen dial day date on the original bracelet to match the tie bar, and of course, the garnet pinky ring. Just because it's uncivilized out there doesn't mean we can't be civilized in here, right? ...2025 was one of the most difficult years of my life for me personally. So during the holidays, I took my annual complete break from the pestilential social media, along with turning off my smartphone for over a week to focus on family, setting goals for my work, my real job outside of Urban Gentry related stuff, designing several watches, writing dozens of scripts that I will hopefully then refine into videos later this year, and in doing so a ton of related studying, reading, followed by a much needed relaxation time, as I like to call it. And this consisted of catching up on a slew of great movies, everything from underrated indie arty-farty obscure stuff, and then also the most ridiculously fun and sleazy schlock imaginable. I'm currently really getting back into rewatching a lot of the old classic Italian giallo movies in particular. All the while, binging on videos exploring the lore and backstories of many beloved nostalgia-triggering retro games that I intend to replay, but most likely never will have time to. Yeah, having adult responsibilities sucks.
Well, what shall we talk about?
Anyway, a shout out to G-Man Lives, No Strings PRD, Zaid_95 and Jet Hild for the wonderfully insightful free content. This mix of much needed family time, creative hibernation, mental equanimity, R&R was, as always, absolutely glorious. This cognitive reset, every year without fail, always makes me realize how beneficial consistency is, because without that, without personal discipline, without that autodidactic routine and sticking to it, no matter what you're trying to achieve, if it's physical, mental, learning a language, whatever it is, without consistency, you're not going to achieve it. A lot of people look for online quick fixes, you know, an overnight secret to self-improvement. As much as I loathe those two words together, talk about cringiante. It's about consistency. I think self-improvement is a lifelong commitment. It's not an overnight thing. Self-improvement never, ever stops. We are not just what we eat, but how much we sleep, read, exercise, the people we choose to be around, and perhaps what most people are not cognizant enough about, what we consume online content-wise.
You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Among the maxims on Lord Naoshige's wall, there was this one. Matters of great concern should be treated lightly. Master Ite commented, Matters of small concern should be treated seriously.
I refuse to use TikTok. I'm just as strict about that as I am not eating 2 hours before I sleep and my daily fasted cardio. There's a reason the CIA doesn't feed its elite operators processed foods and train them to sustain on whole food sources. I'm also focused on returning to physical media almost exclusively for music, movies, and games. For a myriad of reasons that I simply don't have the patience to explain, I never have televisions, phones, or digital screens of any kind in the bedroom and at the dinner table for obvious reasons. I make a fervent effort to limit my time on Instagram and content that does not benefit me in some way educationally. And as I get older, I find it's extremely effective to think of my energy expenditure in equal importance to time management. This has been a massive life hack. I know it sounds simple, but trust me, it's effective. Forget all these online hustle guru grifters. Everything you need has already been written. Stick to time-tested classics, especially when it comes to art, philosophy, and understanding truths of this world. Everything you need to know has been written already. There are always exceptions to the rules. And guess what? A lot of the stuff they're talking about today, they were talking about back then as well. The keys to success and happiness, you find it in the classics and in art. It's all here. It's already been written. Another perpetual life goal is obviously physical health. Now, everyone's physiology is completely different and unique. What works for me might not work for you. I don't do gyms, I don't do weights. I only use my own body weight. This is a personal rule, it's personal preference. My ideal form is just to be slender and physically fit, kind of an athletic build. I don't want to bulk up. Also, it's to do with my long battle with health. You know, if you've been in ICU many times recovering after a lot of trauma, it just works for me. Mental well-being as well. And being in my 40s and yet maintaining a slender physique, that is what's crucial to me. Crazy muscle mass, that's just not my thing. That's not my cup of tea, okay? Might work for you, doesn't work for me. But I do stress consistency again, like anything else. Doing what makes you happy and reaching those goals is it's fundamental, especially the older you get. You know, just to be able to, if I need to, run for hours, you know, like a greyhound. If you're into lifting and all that, good for you. That I'm happy for you. It's kind of like watches, you know, you got to do what makes you happy, right? I have a very different kind of classical sense of how I want to look and feel and self-esteem as well, you know, being healthy, because you could look amazing, but you could be absolutely rotting on the inside. I do intermittent fasting almost every single day of my life, with the exception of probably Christmas. Limit my consumption of alcohol to right down. I cut it down to probably 75%. You know, I drink a few times a week and that's about it. Again, you got to do what's right for you. I avoid sugars, I avoid certain foods. Again, it's all personal physiology and how you react. I can't tell you what to eat and what not to eat, but you got to find out what works for you. It's kind of like watches again.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life.
In my 2025 State of the Collection, I stated that 3 of my Grails are now secured. So before I ultimately retire to some remote villa far away in the sleepy Italian countryside, I will sell absolutely everything and keep just a small select collection of only Grail pieces. So right now this is a trio, and I'm possibly going to curate a perfect lineup of about 5 to 7 pieces. But to be completely honest, I'm still very much undecided as to what the perfect amount is for a collection. So please do add your suggestions in the comments, and most importantly, why. So what I'm contemplating is something similar to what you'll see on screen. Concise, functional, manageable, but certainly maybe imponderable to some of you. This dramatic culling of the collection will most likely not happen for a decade or so, if I'm lucky enough to live that long, that is. So in the meantime, I still want to have some fun, and with my recent, albeit slightly embarrassing rebuy of the Tudor Vice Prez, that particular saga is far from over. As I've discussed in previous videos, I'm still lusting after either that Tudor or the bigger Rolex Day-Date with an Italian day wheel. And I'm not ruling out either, as they both have their pros and cons, with Tudor edging slightly ahead due to its robustness, and also because I don't want to be too Rolex heavy in the final lineup. And speaking of Italian day wheels, another personal goal for me is to become fluent again in Italian. I get ridiculed a lot for my accent when I speak Italian. Non lo so cosa devo dire, mio accento è mio accento. Piano piano, con un po' di pratica ogni giorno. It's a dream of mine, è un sogno per me. Per ritornare in Italia, per vivere lì, per parlare fluente. Voglio fare un altro video, ho già fatto uno per Davide Cecchini, per il suo canale, tutto in italiano, ma ho capito quando ho visto questo video che caspita, è imbarazzante. Per quelli che non sapevano, era mia madrelingua, ok? It was my first language. So, you know, for those people who say, oh, why are you pretending to speak Italian? No, I'm not pretending. I can't change my name. Mio nome, questo sangue qui. Hai capito? You can't change who you are. I can't help being British Italian. But come on, let's be honest. I'm not as bad as the cacio e pepe girl, right?
Everyone must try this cacio e pepe.
Ho sempre detto questo, quando capisci un'altra lingua, c'hai questa capacità per vedere il mondo in un modo più efficiente, più un altro punto di vista, no? È importantissimo. If you only learn one language, you only see the world in a limited, like imagine it vision, right? You only see a limited part of the color spectrum. You see different points of view, you have access to another culture. La lingua è la chiave a un'altra cultura. Questo è un fatto. Questo è un fatto, ragazzi. And besides, women love when you speak Italian, so come on. Trust me, you'll thank me. Next is the seemingly never-ending desire for a world timer. Patek, GP, VC, even Breguet would be the logical Grail level choices, and at the more affordable level, Frédéric Constant now have a smaller sized, albeit only with their Watch Angels collab, for a more affordable option. And if you recall, that was one of my favourite releases of last year. It's a no-brainer for me complication-wise, having work-related clients, family and friends in different time zones, and seeing them all at a quick glance is invaluable. I also was lucky enough to borrow this Bulgari over the festive season from my dear friend Nick, one of NYC's most expert collectors, I might add, who hopefully I will interview on the channel. So a massive thank you to him for this incredibly kind gesture. But unfortunately, and I have to be honest, as much as it pains me to say, despite loving Bulgari as a brand, because I do have a rather profound family connection to it, and of course my adoration for the bold, angular, neo-Art Deco design, I thought I would really absolutely adore it, but I simply didn't gel with it. In fact, it did very little for me. Further proof that a watch can tick all the right boxes, but if it doesn't do it for you in the metal, don't expect fireworks on honeymoon night. Woof woof. So a lot of you may have been surprised that I sold my Navi timer to buy this pure class beauty. Look at that. From Longines, my first Longines. But it's not over for the Navi timer. I knew buying that in the back of my mind that one day I would return. And the reason is because I've discovered this limited edition, which is just, to me, the perfect ultimate Navi timer. And of course it's very, very rare, so I'm just gonna have to wait and bide my time. Anyway, in the meantime, I borrowed this from Moya Fine Jewelers, and if I did go new, I would buy from them Apparently, according to them, shout out to Derek, this pistachio green is one of their top selling Navitimers. It's gorgeous, but just not me. But anyway, thank you to them for lending me this. It has kind of solidified my belief that the one I'm looking for is indeed the right one. In terms of me and the Navitimer, it's not quite over. So a couple of years into the life of this channel, which is crazy to think a decade ago now. If this channel's 12 years old, that's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, I made a conscious decision to only follow and watch and consume content made by real enthusiasts, no watch dealers. And the reason is, well, obviously, aside from the conflict of interest and all the rest of it, I love hearing fellow enthusiasts' opinions, honest opinions. Obviously, I'm not going to ever recommend any toxic or elitist or hateful channels. That's not what it's about. There's a difference between constructive criticism and just, you know, spewing vitriol hatred and calling it constructive, right? That's not constructive. It saved me from falling into any of the hype BS, from the endless investment talk. Value is important, but it's not everything. I can't stand watches being talked about like they're some commodity. I love history, the sentimental meaning, the pop culture references, the story behind the brands. There's so much more, the design evolution, all this stuff, how they make you feel. That's what's important to me. And of course, value does weigh into it, but it's not everything. So I want to use this year to promote and to help grow a healthy community, to unite all the true enthusiasts, independent channels, and grow this online community. Because unfortunately, the sad thing is, a lot of the watch dealer channels, because they have money to invest in SEO and all the rest of it, the algorithm pushes them. Because of course, Google gets a cut. And what happens, it squashes, it kind of hides, it buries the true watch enthusiast content. So if anything, I want to use this platform to promote channels that deserve it, because some of the best content is from fellow independent enthusiasts like yours truly. I'm not going to include the Italian channels, but I'm not going to include those because obviously the language issue, and do recommend your favorites in the comments below. So I'm going to give a shout out to Walking with Watches in the UK, Rob the American in the UK, As Time Decides in the UK, Hobby of Ours, Fratello Mio, my brother, Hobby of Ours, of course, and stay tuned for more live shows with him. The Random Watch Dude in New Zealand, amazing stuff. Coast to Chrono in the USA. Russell, the Mad Watch Collector in the UK, which I had the pleasure of meeting last year. Watch Luca, which I just covered in my last video regarding Seiko. Jimmy Time in the USA, along with his son. Fantastic content there. Marshall Time in the USA, OFD in the USA, Greg Anderson USA, Time My Collection in the UK, SoCal Watches over there in the West Coast. Shout out to Ross P, of course. Mio Fratelli lì. Time to Go Travel and Timepieces in Canada. The Bald Watch Collector UK, Trap Vision, my good friend there, Jeff McMahon, Telling Time in Australia. It might be the UK, do correct me if I'm wrong, but Telling Time in Australia. Steve Papa, of course, un saluto, amigo mio. Talking Timepieces with Tony over there in LA. Skylar Santana, which I believe he's in New York as well. Eric King, another New Yorker. Spending Time Watching Time in the USA, and The Timekeeper in the USA, sorry. Now, forgive me if I missed any of you. Just keep commenting, and this is how I know about these guys, because they're active in the comments too, and I really appreciate that support. Then there's my more short-term goals, shall we say. I would describe them as horological dalliances that I kind of need to get out of my system, primarily the 2025 Hamilton Ventura Skeleton Edge. It's undeniably sexy as hell, and a cool, logical, and very much needed progression of this triple threat icon. And what do I mean by that? Well, number 1, Elvis wore it. Number 2, Richard Arbib designed it. And number 3, it was the original, of course, being the first battery-powered mechanical movement ever, over a decade before the Japanese quartz invasion of 1969. So can you blame me for being so ensorcelled by it? The only thing stopping me is that I do want to try before I buy. as spec-wise it is on the larger size, but with that inherently relatively short lug design, it does give me some hope. And talking of things on the larger size, behave gentlemen, unfortunately I'm not talking about good jeans or BBLs here, but as I said in my best and worst new watches of 2025 video, the 40mm Luminor GMT Ceramica is very high on my list. So the advantages are, well, it's undoubtedly sexy. It's there to kick cooler and chew bubblegum, and it's all out of gum. The machismo of that tactical look, I love it. You got the GMT functionality, a thinner case. You have, what else? The sandwich dial. Mine doesn't have it. Most crucially of all, and I can't believe it hasn't taken the watch world by storm. Maybe it has. They've returned 300 meters water resistance to a 40 size, and that for me, I mean, what's going to happen in the future? Is it going to trickle down to the standard 40 Panerai Luminors? I hope so. That might actually change what I decide on. But to me, buying it there, seeing the museum, making a Grail purchase video like I did Breguet here in New York, but in Florence, a place that's infinitely so important to me, that is worth the price of admission. And that's the negative. Yeah. È costoso, è molto costoso. You know, it's crazy to think I spent less money on this solid gold day date than the retail of this Panerai. But times have changed. Obviously, I'm taking that into consideration. And I know people are going to think I'm crazy to even contemplate paying it. But if I buy it in the store, the experience of that place, the same building where the brand was started, it's like my Breguet. I don't intend on reselling it or any of that. I want to keep it and take it to my grave. My last possible Grail goal is, well, you might have guessed it, due to the poster hanging in the war room. Yes, the Patek Ellipse. Despite owning the White Shadow, a Genta design that inspired it, I still desire the Patek. Which dial, case variant, I will know that when I feel it. And maybe I'm becoming too much like Statler and Waldorf in my old age.
How long is this bozo gonna go on?
Well, that's what I've been asking for the last 10 years.
Oh!
But to me, it's their ultimate hours and minutes only dress watch. Part of that last remaining classy side of Patek. The only other exceptions being the classicism of more traditional Calatravas or vintage calendar watches, like our dear old friend Sandro Frattini collects, if you remember that interview back in Italy. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to rabbit on too long, but thank you very much for watching. Please support more independent content and channels. I'll leave tags and links down below. But don't forget to like this video, especially if you want to support more free and independent content. It really means the world to me. Let me know your personal goals, advice, grails that you have on the horizon. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Onwards and upwards. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.
In the Kamigata area, they have a sort of tiered lunchbox they use for a single day when flower viewing. Upon returning, they throw them away, trampling them underfoot. The end is important in all things.